You are listening to the Mid Morning Show on Salam Media with Mario Mukwanda. It is 8 minutes past 12 on this third day of March 2021. For many individuals, the first step towards recovery is acknowledging their personal struggle with substance dependence. The next step is finding a treatment program that can help restore their overall health, well being, and happiness. To talk about addiction support is Zakeeya Pochee from Islamic Careline. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Zakeeya, and shukran for joining me.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, Mariam. It's only a pleasure.
Alhamdulillah. All right. So first of all, Zakia, before we can get into support groups for addiction, we need to know what constitutes or what qualifies as addiction. So can you take us through that, please? What qualifies as addiction?
Okay, so addiction basically is the dependency, obviously, and on a substance and using it as a coping mechanism. Using it, psychologically, physically, in such a way that you become dependent on a specific substance to use it to cope, whether it's emotionally, physically, mentally. You know, it's almost like you cannot do without it. You know, many about 70% of the population, you know, are dependent mostly on substances. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
there are many that are there are 20% actually that is that binge users, and then there are people that obviously use recreationally, where they use occasionally, and they, you know, then they find and then they can do it out. However, it becomes an addiction when you become completely dependent on it in every way.
Mm-hmm. And what are some examples of addictive behavior that we can be aware of?
Okay, so I would say addictive behavior would be, like I said, like, so if you're gonna depend, if you take for example a substance, whether it be a drug or substance, you know,
Uh,
you become.
Zakia, just a moment there. Can you try talking a bit louder or maybe getting closer to your device?
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes, much better. Shukran.
Okay. Okay, so basically, some of the addictive behaviors we're talking about is, being behaving in such a way. You, like I said, you depend on the drug. So, for example, if I'm using, I'm going to take just a simple example, and I'm going to say even something as painkillers. You know, you're getting
Mm,
addicted
mhm,
to something as painkillers, where you need it to emotionally cope, you need it to physically cope, and then our behaviors become very sort of impulsive. Very, there are many that also get aggressive if they overuse, and you become in such a way whereby it's almost like the addict himself just
mhm,
has a mindset of rushing things. You know, everything needs to be in a fast pace in such a way where where they want to do like few things at one time. You know, it's not in such a way where, you know, you're doing things at a normal pace where you your body, especially physically, your body, you know,
mhm,
becomes adapted to a sleeping routine, and then waking up and then finding, okay, having your meals, your breakfast in such a way where now you're becoming dependent on a drug. Without the drug or without the substance, I cannot go to work, for example. There are many people that
mhm,
can only cope with work, that can only use a substance, and then with that they find, okay, now they're building their confidence and now they can do certain things in life, they can cope with life. I find when it comes to emotions, that's when they use it the most, to suppress that, to numb that, you know. And then that behavior in time, obviously, like I said, gets aggressive, gets impulsive,
mhm.
blurred in such a way where, eventually everything sort of just goes downhill after that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just like with sleeping pills, people will depend on them and say things like, okay, I can't sleep if I don't take a pill or something. And obviously, that is a problem, especially also when it comes to painkillers. Painkillers are easy to get, and shops, retailers sell them. Or you can get them over the counter at pharmacies. And how do we tackle such a problem with addiction, painkiller addiction?
Okay, so a painkiller addiction, um, your drug of choice there would be an opiate. Okay, it comes from an opiate and
Yeah.
a lot of codeine. A lot of codeine. Many people don't realize the effects of codeine. Many people don't realize the dangers of it. Because it's pharmaceutically made, one should
Mm-hmm.
realize that it's almost like a pure form of the cocaine or the heroin that's going into that tablet or that medication in it. So
Hmm.
many people don't realize that that can cause damage to your organs, organ failure, kidney failure, liver failure,
Mm-hmm.
things like that. Sleeping tablets as well, that can also cause much damage to your organs. And many people
Mm-hmm.
don't, they take it for granted, as in, it's just a painkiller, it's something that, it's at home, everybody has it at home, and I got a headache, let me just take a painkiller. But they don't realize the danger or the how one can become so easily addictive because of that feeling. I find many females also suffer with this because it's easily accessible. So,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's something that we should watch out for. And like I said, it can cause great damage. And because it's pharmaceutically made, it's not on the streets like the other drugs, like the street drugs
Yeah.
that you get. It's something more pure and it can definitely put you in ICU. I know I've dealt with cases where there have been people who have overdosed because of, using too much painkillers.
Mm-hmm. Zakia, please stay on the line. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I'd like to get into addiction support groups. To stay on the line.
Survive. Winter is already the hardest time of year, and in the current global context, this year could be even worse. With your help, the Al Imdad Foundation is delivering life-saving winter warmth items in 12 countries globally, including Syria, Palestine, Yemen, Kashmir, and Pakistan. So be warm-hearted and sponsor a winter pack at just 600 Rand. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Shimmer, sparkle, captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness, and every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. Come to us. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031 208 9142. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, manufacturers of fine gold and diamond jewelry.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media.
It is 12:17. You are listening to the mid-morning show on Islam. You're listening to the mid-morning show with Maria Mukwanda on Salam Media. And joining me today for Islamic Careline is Zakeeya Pochee, talking about addiction support group. If you've just joined us, Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, and thank you for joining. If you have any comments or questions for Zakeeya, please leave them in the comments section or send them to us on WhatsApp. The number is 0617660355. Zakeeya, shukran for staying on the line. Why are addiction support groups so necessary, so important?
Addiction support groups are very, very important. It helps the addict to obviously get the proper support afterwards. Remember that an addict cannot do this by themselves. So it's almost like they become very their self-esteem breaks, and they become very demotivated and things like that. So what support is vital afterwards. It builds their confidence. It builds them in such a way that they now have the confidence to stay clean. And that's why support groups and family support, it's so important. Aftercare as well. Aftercare is very important afterwards. Yes. So once they come out of the rehab or they're out of the addiction and now into recovery, then it's very important now. Yes.
Right. So there's no one-size-fits-all approach to treatment. So how does one get a support group suited to their needs?
Okay, so when it comes to support groups, remember, obviously there's different kind of addiction. So if you're looking at the substance abuse addiction, you do have different support groups. You do have aftercare programs where there are like specific organizations or rehabs where they cater for both the family support and then obviously the addict itself. Like for Raul, for example, they have a family support group whereby they educate the parents and empower the parents on how to handle the situation. And then obviously the addict or the recovery as well, now to support them and motivate them and get them going and, to start now building a life with that. So you have the different support groups. You also have, if you're looking at something like gambling addiction or even whether it's an eating disorder, eating addiction, things like that, you have to obviously be in that specific support groups where there are different organizations and different areas where they can go to and they can have these meetings or these programs once a week so that, they can get the proper support. So yeah, there is different, like I said, different organizations, different for that specific addiction that the individual is obviously suffering from.
And what can the patient look forward to from a support group?
Okay, so from a support group, I think it's definitely understanding the situations. Remember, when it comes to addiction, it's more about being understood. They wanna be understood. They wanna be understood, obviously, by somebody else who has been through the same process, who can guide them and help them in such a way, emotionally, especially. So support, yes, like I said, it's you gain that confidence, you gain that support, you start to sort of build yourself up to know that, look, I don't need, for example, a drug to live a good life. Life is actually good. Life is actually a good life out there, and I don't really necessarily need a drug or a substance to live this life. I can do this on my own, and that's where you get people, you get the support where everybody understands you on the same level and can help you in that aspect. And like I said, even for the family support is vital. It is vital, especially because if you take a kid, for example, if the parents or if that kid's parents enables them with the right support, with the proper support, then that individual, that child or the kid, that adolescent especially, will become confident, will gain confidence, and will be able to be successful almost in everything that child, that adolescent has to do. So it's like family support, I believe, is very important, right? Family support, but even with that, you have to be careful because there is something is enabling. Enabling is when it's almost like you're spoiling them too much, or you're spoiling the ego, you're spoiling the child. Whereby, let's say, for a support group says, look, you're not supposed to have cash on you, or you're not supposed to control cash, or a car, or a cell phone, certain things, as then the parents in that aspect will go, because now the parents feel, okay, now my child is doing well, whether it's 1 month, he's 1 month clean, or 2 months clean, is doing well, let me buy for him or her a car, or let me give them money, or let me buy certain things. That also it's enabling. It's almost like enabling. You giving in too much. You need to also be, that's why I'm saying you have to have the right amount, the right way to support that your child or your addict is going through this. And these support groups, they help you and they educate you on how to do this. Communicate with your child, certain things. So that's why it empowers not only the addict, or now the recovery, that's now in recovery, but as well as the family that's going to be supporting that individual.
All right. What does Islamic Careline provide in terms of addiction support?
Okay, so Islamic Careline would offer counseling. So we
Mm-hmm.
offer obviously drug counseling, drug and peer counseling that way. Also, in terms of prevention. Okay, so our organization that we launched, Green Crescent South Africa, we also go out and we now planning on going and speaking to younger kids or adolescents, but preventing it, meaning that before it even starts, before the peer pressure, before that the time actually comes where they're going to actually start using, we want to now target those kids before they actually start. So both, for example, to make better choices in life, to make sound choices in life, to enable them with a good self-esteem, personal development, things like that. So we want to make sure that it's prevent, because they say prevention is better than cure. So we work on prevention also. And like I said, Islamic Careline does offer counseling in terms of drug counseling and obviously peer counseling.
All right. For those who may not know, can you please share with us Islamic Careline's contact details?
Okay, so our number is 011 373 8080. So you
All
can
right.
call the office. So you can call the office anytime just to make an appointment with the receptionist, and then obviously from there we can take it and then guide you to a counselor.
All right. Shukran so much for your time, Zakeeya. And for our listeners, if there's anyone out there that needs to contact Islamic Careline for addiction support, please do go ahead and do so. I know one thing that we like to shy away from is not getting the help because of the stigma attached to getting help. You're always worried about what people are going to say. And I think that is another problem that we need to deal with. We need to tell people that it's okay to get the help regardless of what people say. Are you worried about getting better, or are you worried about what people are going to say?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yes, that's actually a very, very important point. It's very important because that's most of the time, that's the reason why people don't want to come forward or they're struggling with something, in their home. But like you said, we need their help, at the end of the day, you are living with this, you are suffering with this, you are challenged with this. So it's better to get the help at the end of the day, and so that you can have a good and healthy life. Because at the end of the day, nobody else is gonna be living, or no, nobody else lives in your shoes. Nobody knows what you're going through. You and your family that is suffering through this. So definitely, when it comes to stigma, that is something that is an issue. However, it's something that we need to also, like you were discussing, move forward. I think we need to also move forward from that when you say it comes to stigma. So we need to move forward from that and now to realize that, look, what is important? What is important? Like, if my child is suffering with addiction, my child's life, my child's health, my child's emotional well-being, it's important. My emotional, for example, if I'm a parent, my emotional well-being and my life, it's important for me, and I'm the one that's suffering. So take the step and go forward. I always believe that if you take one step towards Allah, Allah will obviously come back running to you, and Allah will end up raising you in that way. So yes, don't be afraid.
Yes, indeed. Shukran so much for your time once again, Zakeeya, and have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
That was Zakeeya Pochee for Islamic Careline talking about addiction support. And you can contact the Islamic Careline on 011 373 8080 and book an appointment. Do not be afraid to get the help that you need for yourself or for a loved one, because it's not about them. It's not about what people are going to say. It's about them. It's about you recovering from that addiction. And You may not get the community support, but you have the support of your family, your friends, those who really love and care about you and want to see you become a better person. So worry less about what people are going to say. If you're worried about what they're going to say, guess what? People will always have something to say, whether you do good or you don't. They will always have something to say. It is 12:28. You are listening to the mid morning show on Salam Media. We will be right back.
Listen to something fresh. Listen to Salam Media, your humanitarian broadcaster.